Hey there, good morning everyone. Thursday, the 18th of August 2022. This morning's devotional is a reading from the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 4, which reads, "When you make a vow to God, do not delay in fulfilling it. He has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill your vow." We have all made promises in our life, and perhaps you may have even made some these last few days. But have you fulfilled your promises? Or were they just made to get rid of that person in front of you, or even to get that person off your back? Perhaps you may have been telling a story and you've ended it. I promise you, it really happened like that. How many of us have made a promise to God, which is like kind of slipped into the oblivion of life? When you make a promise to God, you should be quick to keep it. You might say, well, Lord, I'll make good on my promise. I just want to finish doing this or finish doing that. Know this, that delayed obedience is disobedience, and a delayed promise is an unfulfilled promise. When you started following Jesus, you probably promised that you would start living life according to His plan and not your own plan. Well, how's that going? It's pretty much like those New Year resolutions that we make every year. They only last for about 5 minutes, and that's a long time. Admittedly, we do fall, and life happens. Failure is not when you do not succeed. Failure is when you stop trying and give up. You see, we make promises to God because we like relying on a deal rather than on grace. We kind of make promises to God when we doubt that He will forgive us. So here's some pointers for us to look out for when you feel tempted to make a promise to God. Number one, do you intend on keeping that promise? Promises should not be made without the strict intention of keeping them. Even something as benign as promising someone, well, I'll pray for you, and then not praying for them, well, that is a broken promise. Jesus warns us in Matthew 5, verse 37, about when it comes to swearing an oath. He says, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond that comes from the evil one. And this can be taken in the same way as a promise. Number two, have you thought your promise through? Flippant promises can be dangerous, especially when made to God. In Judges chapter 11, verses 29 to 40, we read about Jephthah's thoughtless vow to the Lord. He made this in return for victory over the Ammonites. And Jephthah promised to sacrifice whatever met him first when he returned home. Sadly, it was Jephthah's only child, a daughter, who met him upon his return. Number three, do you have the power to carry out that promise? Know this, that a promise that is dependent on someone else's actions or on the unknown has no guarantee to be kept and therefore should be avoided at all costs. Promises like these can harm a person's reputation and make the person who promised them seem untrustworthy. My dear friends, the old saying rings true. A promise made is a promise kept. And this is the standard of faithfulness that every believer should strive for. A Christian should only make a promise if they fully intend to keep it. So, a challenge for you today and for the rest of the days. May the Lord be with you. May He bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you and be with you always. Goodbye.